What's going on, Spurs family? This is day after thoughts of the Clippers game. I mean, we caught a butt kicking yesterday, last night, and look, we're gonna have games like that. This is a young team. We're gonna have games. It's frustrating to see. I was frustrated watching all the turnovers and um, like unforced turnovers at that, like things that shouldn't happen. But I get that we are a young team, and we're going to have plenty games like this. But I mean, we ain't going to have games where we lose by 40, obviously. But games where we just not performing well, we not taking care of the basketball. That's going to happen a lot. And so, this game is a wash. We went up against a very gritty veteran team with a few all stars who can absolutely play great defense on the perimeter. So um, I'm not too worried about the loss. It's just frustrating to see the turnovers that's unforced. I can understand if it's forced turnovers, but we had a lot of turnovers that was just, we got to take care of the ball better than that. Um, so with my frustration is this lineup. This lineup has to end. All right. This lineup with Sohan as the point guard, it has to end. He's not a point guard. We play so slow. And I mean, when Trey Jones came in the game, it didn't help. We was already getting a drumming, but you can see the fluidity though. You can see how faster we play when Trey Jones on the court. Get the ball and he's pushing it down the court. And that's important because it gives us more time. If we sitting there walking the ball up the court, that shot clock is, going down. And if you're playing against a good defensive team or with good perimeter defenders, you ain't gonna get that first look. And if you don't get that first look, then you gotta reset or you got to keep the offense going, but it's not enough time because you just wasted around 7 to 8 seconds getting the ball up the court. And that's what Sohan does. I get that you want length on defense, but it's not working. We're not playing with that fast pace. And that's another thing. Going up against a, a team with great defenders, you got to play fast. We play like our feet is in cement with that starting five. It's like it's no quick movement, and we got to end it. You have to put Trey Jones back into the starting lineup. Like the experiment failed. It's a failed experiment, and that's something that it just frustrates me. You just next game, I challenge you next game when we play. Look how slow the offense is versus when Trey Jones is on the floor. Look, just let's look at that. Just look how more fluent we play when Trey Jones is on the floor versus when Sohan's at the point guard. Now, I'm not saying bench Sohan. I'm just saying put a point guard on the floor. I don't care who comes out the game. I don't care. We need a point guard on the floor. Somebody who was brought up to be a point guard on the floor. Sohan is just a big guy who can bring up the basketball. That's only to our advantage if he's playing in his position. It's not our advantage if he's playing point guard. It's a failed experiment. We need to go back, bring a point guard on the floor. That's what you gave Trey Jones the contract for. Put him at his position, start him. Because if you don't think he's a good enough point guard, if you think Sohan is better than Trey Jones at point guard, then why even give him an extension? Why give him an extension if you think somebody who don't play the position is better than him in the starting lineup? Y'all, we might as well went into the free agencies and pick up a point guard. I just don't see. I just don't see why Sohan is our starting point guard. It has to end. He's not a point guard, and it shows. I challenge anybody. The next game, watch how slow our offense is. Now, watch next game. We play terrific, but watch how slow we play, and watch when Trey Jones in the game. Once that ball go in the basket, even if the other team score, he want the ball. He's going. Sohan, he's just walking the ball up. That's critical seconds. Definitely if you're playing against a good defensive team, because the good defensive team ain't going to let you get your first look. So if we come down, we run the play for Victor, they ain't going to let you get that first look. You got to go to your second look because we ain't allowing that. So good defensive teams is going to shut down your first look. So that means you have to go to your second. What's the second look? What's the third look? And if you walking the ball up the court, you just, like I said, you just wasted 6 or 7 seconds. 6 or 7 seconds. With Trey Jones, he getting it. Unless he's getting pressured, obviously. He's walking. He's pushing the ball up the court, and even if he is pressured, he's passing it so the ball can get up the court faster. He's not taking his time getting up the court, and his head is always up, so he's always looking for a pass. It's just this experiment has failed. But as far as the season goes, like I said before the start of the season, I said we're gonna have to be patient with Victor. He's gonna have games where he looked terrific. He's gonna have games like last night, and I said so we gotta calm down with the hype around this player. He has to continue to grow. He has to continue to get better. It's a lot of things he needs to work on. So, like, I'm not really for all the bashing of Victor. I see a lot of that. I see a whole lot of that, and it's not something you do. He's 19 years old. If you're a Spurs fan, you shouldn't be bashing Victor. He had a bad game. This is his first year in. He has to develop. He has to have time to develop. Ain't nobody just walking in the league like LeBron James and dominating. Not a lot of players do that. If you haven't noticed, I'm talking to the people who always have something negative to say about a person who having a bad game in a rookie season. Like, nobody walks into this league like LeBron James. That don't happen. It really don't happen often. Usually players develop into who they are. Only the special players come in balling right away. The special players. And I'm not saying that necessarily Victor is not special, but I'm saying this is really an outlier of how many players just come in and just hoop from the jump. The two-time MVP, Jokic, he ain't coming to the league off the bat just dominating. He had time to grow. It doesn't say that Joker ain't as special, but it's really an outlier that people just come in the league and just ball. It just doesn't happen that way. So I just hope people understand the patience. He's 19 years old, first year in the league. He's going to grow. He's going to get better over time. Another player Giannis, he ain't coming in the league just dominating. It took time. He took time to develop into who he is. And I think people just need to calm down. I understand the media is hyping the kid up, but don't fall for what the media is doing. Of course, the media is going to hype it up. That's how they get views. That's how they get clicks. But we have to look at it from a basketball standpoint. He's 19 years old. He just entered the league. And then we got to look at the history of the game. How many players just come in the league dominating off the rip? It doesn't happen that way, right? It just doesn't happen. So we have to continue to be patient with Victor. Over time, he will grow into a legendary player for our franchise. That's if no injuries happen. He'll be a terrific player for our franchise. So I'm gonna just always keep that in your minds. Every video, I'm gonna keep that in your minds. Be patient with Victor, because I understand that the media is going on a different angle. They always want to try to hype him up. Obviously, it's for clicks. That's all it is, for clicks and views. But all overall, last night game, I mean, it's just wash it out the system. We know what we can do better. We got to take care of the ball better, and I think that's all we need to do. I mean, we got the players that can score. We got Vassell, we got Johnson, we have Victor. We got players that can score, but if we turn in a ball over, I mean, against a team like that, that's a contending team. That team's supposed to be contending. So we need to take care of the ball, because we take care of the ball better, we can at least make it a game. Coming into the fourth quarter within 10 points, within 5 points, we can at least make it a game if we can, take care of the basketball. So I mean, I'm not too upset. I mean, we ain't going to have a game like that all season. But I'm talking about losing by like 40 points. We ain't going to see that often. I just think that necessarily we killed ourselves with the turnovers, and you turn a ball over that many times before the second quarter. I mean, it was almost double digits before the second quarter. Um, well over double digits at halftime. I mean, you turn the ball over that many times to a team that's supposed to be contending. Yeah, you're gonna get embarrassed out there. So I'm not too worried about it. The only thing I'm worried about is that lineup. That lineup has to stop. I want to see Trey Jones next game in that starting lineup. I want to see Trey Jones in the start. Enough of that experiment. That Sohan at point guard experiment, like I said, failed. Let's get rid of it, rip it up. It's done. It's done. And that's how I look at it. And I'm going to be, I ain't gonna lie, I'm going to be quite annoyed to see Sohan at point guard next game. He probably is going to play point guard next game starting, but I'm telling you, I'm gonna be annoyed because the experiment it failed. Like, get rid of it. Like, I don't know what else you can see that will. I don't know what Popovich is looking at thinking that's going to change. It's not going to change. It doesn't benefit us at all. Sohan ain't a deadly 3-point shooter. The bench Trey Jones, he doesn't have a better assist to turnover ratio than Trey Jones. He doesn't push the ball up the floor better than Trey Jones. And the looks of it, the defense is not even better. You would think the defense side of the ball as a team defense to get better with Sohan at point guard. That's not even better. So ain't nowhere in this experiment where you think, this is the reason why Sohan is starting. It's no indicator. It's none. It's nothing there. So he shouldn't be starting at point guard. Now, I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying bench Sohan. I'm saying he shouldn't be the starter. I understand, and maybe that's because Victor, they don't want Victor at the 5. That's the reason why we getting dominated in the paint. Put him at the 5. That's an experiment we should try. I understand, but we averaging like around 60 points in the paint. You want to know why? Check next game. Next game, look where Victor's at. He's on a perimeter because he's guarding a 4. We have no rim protection. I understand you don't want him in foul trouble, but necessarily, we got to protect the paint. Chris Collins ain't protecting nothing down there. We getting 65 points in the paint against us because Victor's on the perimeter. You've seen that he changes shots when people drive in when he's down there. He forces players to pass the ball. He forced it a turnover. But if he's guarding a 4 and he's out there on the perimeter, you think players is going to be afraid to go down there with Collins? No, because Collins is not a shot blocker. He's not. He's not a rim protector. That's my frustration. We gotta, if we wanted to experiment anything, it should have been Victor at the 5. But like I said, I'm not trying to say bench Sohan. I'm just saying put Sohan in his right position. If that means Keldon Johnson off the floor, then Keldon Johnson off the floor. That's still going to help us because our second unit will be stronger. Malachi Branham can't carry that second unit. Malachi Branham can't carry that second unit. Keldon Johnson got that intensity. He got that passion. He got that leadership. He's the leader of the team, and I understand leader of the team should start, but not necessarily. I mean, because he can lead that second unit. Devin Vassell is a leader as well. But so we can have Keldon Johnson lead in that second unit. That's all I'm saying. Ain't no difference. Collins can't defend the paint better than Sohan can defend the paint. I don't see that. Cause I see Collins getting cooked every time he's going up against a low post scorer. So my whole thing is put a point guard on the floor. I don't care who comes out the game. That can be Vassell, Johnson. I don't care who comes out the game. Put a point guard in that lineup. That's all I'm at to say. That's all I have to say. I catch y'all when the next game. The next game is tomorrow, so I'll catch y'all uh, Wednesday. I'll catch y'all Wednesday for the day after thoughts. So peace and blessings, man. I hope everybody enjoyed their Monday.